What happens when you take Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish, you tell them, don't be funny, even though that's what everybody knows you as, and instead, just kill people as mobsters? Well, it turns out it kind of confuses audiences and things get weird. I'm Adamic, here to tell you all about The Kitchen. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and check ADAMICradio.com for more reviews, interviews, and other fun stuff. And now, let's take a look at The Kitchen. It's the 1970s, and three hack mobsters get caught robbing a store in Hell's Kitchen. Hence the name of the film, The Kitchen. So while these guys are in jail, their wives, Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elisabeth Moss, they decide they're going to take over the mob, and they do a decent job of it until another mob boss gets upset. Plus, the husbands are feeling a bit emasculated once they get out of jail, so the women have to deal with that as well. The Kitchen is riddled with odd production choices. First off, they went out and got two big-name comedic stars, Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish, for a violent mob movie that didn't really have much intentional comedy in it. This really confused the audience of the screening that I went to. The audience was trying to find humor and just laughing at things that weren't meant to be funny. At one point, Elisabeth Moss's character is about to get raped, but she gets saved at the last minute. But after, she's pretty shaken up and emotional. She's trying to cope with what just happened. Now, instead of realizing this is a woman trying to make sense of one of the most scariest, traumatic experiences of her life, the crowd started laughing, thinking it was a gag. They refused to believe that it wasn't. They couldn't accept that Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish would do something that wasn't a comedy. There were a lot of moments like that where the audience just laughed and refused to give the scenes the weight that they were intended to have. The Kitchen follows the three stories of the three women as they take over the mob and the after effects, and it really feels like three separate stories that may have been better off as three separate movies. Melissa McCarthy comes off as an 80s soccer mom trying to run a cheap knockoff version of the mob from The Godfather. Tiffany Haddish, she's doing some kind of 70s blaxploitation Foxy Brown movie. And Elisabeth Moss, well, she's doing like a knockoff of Natural Born Killers going around killing people with her new boyfriend. It really doesn't feel like all three of these characters had to be in the film. Like, one probably would have been fine for the story. There's also a lot of things that just don't make a lot of sense. The mob, they're selling protection. Yet the women in charge don't seem to have any protection for themselves or their families. The mob itself doesn't seem to really exist. The women are bossing around some mob members at a bar that they own or control or something, yet the guys that they're bossing around, they don't seem to do anything. Instead, all you see is the women going out, doing everything themselves. If they're the bosses, wouldn't they have other people doing stuff for them? Likewise, at the beginning of the film, when the three husbands are arrested, why would the heads of the mob be the ones robbing the store? Shouldn't they have had some underlings doing it instead? This is the first movie that Andrea Berloff has directed, and there's some moments where the directing and the narrative of the film are just very heavy-handed and cliche. The film opens up with the song A Man's World to just really make a point of how sexist everything is. And then when some members of the mob turn on the women, suddenly there's shots of little rats running across the screen. There's also some women empowering moments that were just really kind of unnatural and shoehorned in. It just kind of felt like someone saw Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and thought, hey, we could do a female empowering movie too, but let's make ours different. We'll just kind of do a twist on The Godfather and throw some women in there. That'll work. Yeah, nobody will see through it. With a different cast and maybe a strong director, this could have been a good movie. But the way it is now, The Kitchen comes off just kind of as a confused movie that probably should have been a comedy. It's not a terrible movie. Just not a good one either. 2 out of 5 stars for The Kitchen. That'll do it for The Kitchen. I'm Adamic. Leave your comment down below and let me know what you thought of The Kitchen. If you were disappointed by it, if you liked it, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, whatever. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. ADAMICradio.com has more goodies for you. See you later. Bye-bye.